The other day I was at the mall, and I was walking through the store, you know, one of those big box stores. And walking the other day was this guy. He was about 5'7", and he looked like he was about 57, and his face was super leathery, and he had a Canadian Airborne Regiment cap on. Now the thing is the Canadian Airborne Regiment caps can only be bought in one place, those particular caps, and it's in Petawawa. So I could tell by looking at him that he was one of the Airborne Regiment, because I've seen him before, you know. And he had the handlebar mustache. You know, that's a big thing. When you decided to make the lifetime commitment to the Canadian Army, you know, and that's the mohawk of the Canadian Army, is the handlebar mustache. You know, when you're a lifer, that's what you get, you know. And he had the Airborne cap on, so he was, and you could tell by looking at this guy, you know, like so I talked to him for a bit. He told me all about the marches he was on and his time with the commando groups and everything, you know. And there he was in Sears, you know, just buying a belt and stuff in the bargain bin and stuff like that. And I thought that was kind of sad. You know, here's this hero, really. You know, I mean, this is a guy who had his youth and his body robbed from him through suffering and through harsh winds and through extreme environments for the good of his country. And here he is in Sears, in the bargain bin, trying to buy a belt. That's not right. You know, you think that if you were at least going to give into that, you know, if you were going to be an Airborne Ranger, if you're going to be in the Special Forces of any country, of any army, you know, you should be, I don't know, you just shouldn't be scrounging around in bargain bins, you know? It just doesn't seem right somehow. And that made me think an awful lot about the pageantry of the Army. You know, they got all these ribbons, and Napoleon even said, "I'll make people die for me just for these ribbons," you know? And young men, they want to prove they're men, you know? They want to prove that they can go out in the bushes and kill the bear and anoint themselves with the blood, and then we'll be men, you know, and we'll be respected and feared and loved and all that. And it's all bullshit. You know, it's all this weird image thing that we got, and this is in no way about the guy. You know, I don't want to mention him by name because, you know, he was I've met a ton of guys like him, you know, and he was so fiercely proud of what he was, and that's cool, I guess, you know, why not? But it just seemed to me that he kind of got ripped off. Let's take everything that you are, that you were born into this world. At one point you were like a gentle person, a loving person who was, maybe you were married at one time and you loved your wife, and now that's gone because you got dragged through several countries and thrown out of planes and trained every day to kill people. And it takes a certain kind of damage to train people every day to kill people. It's not like the video games, you know, where you're running around with 200 pounds of gear on and, you know, you run through the desert and the streets of Mogadishu and you're shooting guys with your MP5 and you get shot and you respawn. No, the med kits don't work that fast, you know, and the joint damage comes over time, and your back goes and your knees goes, and before you know it, you're walking with a cane, but you're airborne, you know, until you remuster to become a cook so you can finish out your tour and maybe end as a stores clerk, get your pension, which they cut you on. And with your pension, you're going to wind up in Sears looking in the bargain basement belt bin. So what do? Do you bin it? Do you just bin the whole thing? You say, screw it, screw the Army, screw the honor of our life, screw the honor of our nation, screw the pageantry of the military. Yeah, fuck the pageantry. And fuck the military too. Because, you know what? There's a lot of really good people in the Army who are getting really, really messed over. And they believe in the country, and they believe in this, you know, the ideas of freedom and stuff like that. But the money, it's all the corporations, you know, they're moving in on everything, and everybody wants the almighty dollar, and they're costing, you know, the blood of our best for money. I don't know what the answer is, you know, but don't join the Army, guys. Don't do it. It's not what you think, and it's not what they show you on TV either, you know. And you will stop being everything that you are maybe you can come out of it ahead. A lot of people go, but Sean, you were in the Army. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was in the Air Assault Regiment, or battery. And it was a rough go, and anybody who was in there with me, they'd know I had a hard time with it. But at the end of the day, I met a lot of really interesting guys, and before you settle in an orchard, you might want to check the fruit on the trees. I'm here to tell you, there's nothing really good to see there. I just don't want to see... I'd like people to have a little more than just a bunch of pins on an old trucker cap that got painted a certain way. I like people to be themselves and express themselves rather than, you know, buy into the handlebar mustache. I'm just Sean Kennedy, you know. I'm just one guy. What do I know? That's my take on it.